In recent years, crop failures and food shortages have become alarmingly common due to the increasing impact of floods, droughts, heatwaves, and storms. These climate challenges are disrupting global agriculture, leaving us with less arable land, scarcer water resources, and rising energy costs. While innovative solutions like lab-grown meat and climate-resilient crops are emerging, they are still far from becoming mainstream. If we don't act now to combat climate change, the foods we love may soon vanish from our plates. While this is by no means an exhaustive list, here are 15 foods that you might not find by the end of 2024. Number 15. Tomatoes. In 2024, global tomato yields have already declined by approximately 5% compared to previous years, primarily due to the increasing frequency of heat waves, prolonged droughts, and shifting climate patterns. Tomatoes flourish in temperatures between 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, but once it crosses 35 degrees Celsius, yields can drop significantly. Currently, over 65% of the world's tomatoes are grown in California, Italy, and China. However, these regions are facing increasing challenges. In 2022, California, the leading U.S. producer, saw a 12% reduction in yield due to severe droughts and record-breaking heat waves. Meanwhile, India, the world's second-largest consumer of tomatoes, has seen prices soar by over 500% in 2024 due to extreme weather events, leading fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King to temporarily remove tomatoes from their menus. When even McDonald's struggles to source tomatoes, it's clear that the effects of climate change are hitting home. Number 14. Chilies. In the summer of 2024, Hui Fa Foods, the maker of the iconic sriracha sauce, sent shockwaves through the hot sauce community by announcing another halt in production. The culprit? Unrelenting droughts and extreme heat in Mexico, the main source of the red jalapenos used in their sauce. This isn't the first time either. Back in 2022, a similar shortage left shelves empty and fans desperate. Mexico, which supplies 40% of the world's chilies, has been grappling with a water crisis, causing crop failures and a significant drop in chili production. The once flowing Colorado River, a vital water source for Mexico's agriculture, is now at a historic low, exacerbating the issue. A 15% decrease in chili yields across the region in 2024 alone. For a company like Hui Fa Foods, which produces 20 million bottles of sriracha annually, these shortages have meant months without new shipments, leaving fans scrambling to get their hands on the last few bottles. Number 13. Chocolate. Dark chocolate might be a delicious treat, but it comes with some serious environmental costs. The chocolate industry contributes to deforestation. In the Ivory Coast, the top producer of cocoa, over 85% of the forest has been lost since 1960. This has led the EU to ban cocoa linked to deforestation. To make matters worse, climate change is threatening cocoa trees. Scientists warn that a third of cocoa trees could die off by 2050, possibly causing a chocolate shortage. Recent studies also show that tropical crops like cocoa, watermelon, mango, and coffee are at risk because there are fewer insect pollinators. So, next time you enjoy dark chocolate, remember it's not just a treat, it's part of a bigger environmental story. Number 12. Coffee. Coffee lovers, your favorite drink might be in trouble. Out of 124 coffee species, nearly 60% are at risk of disappearing, including Arabica, the main type of coffee we drink every day. The situation is so dire that Arabica could be gone by 2050 if things don't change. Extreme weather and climate change are already making coffee harder to grow, leading to lower yields and higher prices. Coffee thrives in a narrow temperature range of 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. But now coffee-growing regions are facing more extreme heat. This could mean that the prime areas for growing coffee could shrink by half before 2025. So, the next time you sip your coffee, remember it might not always be as easy to come by or as affordable as it is now. Number 11. Wine. Climate change is wreaking havoc on global wine production. Severe weather, early frosts, heavy rains, and drought has pushed wine output to its lowest in decades, with a 5% drop globally. Major wine-producing countries like Australia, Argentina, and Chile have seen declines of 10 to 20%. Even Italy has fallen behind France as the top producer. But it's not just about quantity, quality is changing too. French winemakers are struggling with high sugar levels in grapes due to rising temperatures, leading to more alcoholic, lower quality wines. Number 10. Potatoes. Potatoes, a staple for many, are taking a hit from extreme climate conditions. In England, drought has forced farmers to scale back production, while red-skinned potatoes have nearly vanished across Europe, driving prices up. Northern Ireland is also feeling the strain, with dry weather slashing supplies. Europe saw a drop of about 2 million tons of potatoes in 2023, one of its driest years ever. Meanwhile, in Peru, rising temperatures are forcing farmers to higher altitudes, with some warning that in a few decades, there may be no land left for potato farming. Number 9. Seeds. It's not just store-bought food that's at risk. Climate change is also hitting home gardeners hard by threatening seed supplies. A U.S. seed farm manager shared how 3 years of drought followed by heavy rains wiped out lettuce seed crops. Severe storms and 75 miles per hour winds have even caused seeds to fail to mature for the first time. In Maine, one farmer's seed potatoes faced years of drought, only to be hit with extreme wet conditions. With seed demand surging due to food shortages, this is becoming a serious problem for growers everywhere. Number 8. Corn. Corn, one of the world's most vital crops, is facing severe shortages globally. In Zambia, where maize is a staple, severe droughts and flash floods have caused a critical shortage, worsened by export demands. The Horn of Africa, suffering its worst drought in 40 years, has seen white maize stocks nearly dry up in countries like Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya. In North India, maize crops are drying due to stagnant water, while floods have destroyed maize used as fodder just before harvest. Climate extremes are threatening the future of this essential crop worldwide. Number 7. Blueberries. Blueberry lovers, prepare for a shortage. Peru, the top blueberry exporter, has seen its exports slashed by more than half this year due to unusually high temperatures, particularly during the critical flowering stage. Experts blame the El Niño phenomenon for putting extreme stress on crops and reducing yields. This shortage has impacted global markets, with U.S. supplies dropping by 70% and prices spiking 60%. As a result, Americans have bought 27 million pounds fewer blueberries than last year. Number 6. Lime. Peru's lime crisis has been making headlines, with prices skyrocketing due to extreme weather. El Niño and Cyclone Yaku have devastated lime blossoms, leading to one of the worst farming seasons the country has seen in decades. The once thriving lime fields in places like Olmos are barely producing, thanks to a combination of climate change, fertilizer shortages, and lack of support. It's not just limes either. Crops like maize, cocoa, and coffee are also feeling the heat. In Mexico, back-to-back droughts and floods have hit lime growers hard, making the future of this citrus staple uncertain. Number 5. Oranges. Oranges are in trouble, with orange juice prices soaring. In the U.S., Florida, responsible for about 90% of the country's orange juice, was battered by a series of severe weather events in 2023, including Hurricane Ian and multiple cold snaps, which devastated orange yields. Florida's orange production, which once reached 244 million boxes annually, has now fallen to just 10 million boxes. Brazil, the world's largest orange juice exporter, has also been hit hard, with stocks dropping by 35% in the past year. Globally, orange juice production for 2023-24 has seen a 7% decline. The future of our orange juice supply is looking increasingly bleak. Number 4. Peaches. Peaches are facing a tough season as climate change and extreme weather take their toll. In the American South, a late freeze in early 2024 destroyed about 70% of Southern California's peach harvest, following a similar freeze last year. Georgia's peach harvest suffered even more, with only 3% of the crop remaining. In Europe, droughts in Spain and France, combined with floods in Italy, have severely impacted peach yields. The 2024 harvest has been one of the smallest in decades, with some farms in northern Italy reporting losses of up to 80% of their crop. Peaches are becoming increasingly rare and costly worldwide. Number 3. Seafood. Seafood is facing a severe crisis due to climate change. Recent heatwaves have caused significant disruptions in marine environments. During the latest marine heatwave, which began in 2023, species like cod, abalone, Chinook salmon, and Dungeness crabs suffered from toxic algal blooms, leading to the closure of major fisheries, including California's Dungeness crab fishery. In Alaska, the snow crab season for 2024 has been cancelled after a dramatic collapse in snow crab populations, which have plummeted by over 90% from their previous levels. While some species, such as anchovies and market squid, have seen population increases, the overall impact on marine ecosystems is creating a shortage of many seafood varieties and driving up prices. Number 2. Meat. Climate change is hitting meat production hard. In the U.S., recent heatwaves have led to the deaths of cattle in Nebraska and doubled water consumption for ranchers in Oklahoma. Heat stress is not only fatal but also reduces milk yield and fertility, impacting both livestock and their caretakers. Globally, rising temperatures are straining meat production, driving up prices and making it increasingly difficult to maintain healthy livestock. Number 1. Cheese. The climate crisis is threatening your favorite cheeses. In France, cheesemakers are struggling to meet the country's stringent quality standards due to climate change disrupting traditional methods. Hotter, drier summers are damaging pastures essential for cheese production. For instance, one French cheese that requires 7 months of grazing on mountain pastures is no longer being made because there's not enough grass. As climate conditions worsen, the future of artisanal cheese is becoming increasingly uncertain. Some foods we used to take for granted might not be around much longer. It's pretty wild to think about how climate change, overfarming, and global demand are impacting the things we love to eat.